Harp's messaged me earlier.
Yeah.
Adam, yeah. So I've just seen, I was like,
He's been following us a lot. He watches all my live ones. I go out at 6:10.
oh, when you go on your walk and have your...
Yeah, he watches them all.
We good?
I'm still worried about it.
Huh?
Again, once I've shot it, it's too late.
What's the mean?
It's fine.
It's recording anyway.
Move right to the edge of the tape, you'll be fine. I'm alright, I've got enough room. We're not like... Don't have to be...
We're all right, Shane. We're all good.
It's going to matter going sideways.
Nah. Go about the other way, mate. That's much better. Just leave it like that.
Okay.
Have you got the live yet, have you?
I'll just go on here, yeah?
If you're on Rise Above, you need to go on your other one.
On my one, yeah?
Yeah, it's your part, yeah. Then go to search, where's the search bar? How'd you find the other account that you're following?
Yeah.
How'd you find the other account that you're following? Turn that down now, Adrian. We don't want the echo.
Few technical issues there, but we are going live. We're just prepping. We'll be going and starting the interview in a second. Tap the screen. I know it's annoying this way though, isn't it?
No, it's fine, mate.
It's going to have to be.
He's got the comments.
Okay, we're going to try and answer as many comments as we can as well. There you go. Angus, thank you for coming. It's got to be really difficult to talk about things that are triggers for yourself, and when you suffer mental health, and as we do, we're fully aware of the consequences of talking about your mental health to people that you've never met on TikTok or to us. Really, you've never really had these conversations with us, have you? Thank you again for coming on. Hey,
Yeah, no. Again, especially short notice, because obviously we were supposed to have a different guest on. So the fact that you've come on at short notice, obviously you'd reached out to us, which was absolutely amazing. So for you to come on short notice is, brilliant from you, mate, in fairness. And I hope we can go on a little journey the next hour or so together.
Amazing. Angus, I want to start by obviously going back to your childhood. Ask you about your childhood and any fond memories and any not so fond memories that you want to share with us. You mentioned on the research that I did that you were bullied in school, and I think now's your opportunity to put one finger up at the bullies right here, right now, and talk about that and how it affected you, but how it's not affecting you now is more important.
Oh God. I don't know where to start with that one.
So I suppose let's sort of break that down a little bit more. Is by when did you sort of realise that you were struggling in certain areas? First off, what sort of age do you think you consciously felt?
So I was diagnosed. No, when was I diagnosed? I think I was about 10. Okay. So mum is a school teacher and was training to be a school teacher. So in her placements was dealing with students with ADHD, autism, on the spectrum, just on, and put two and two together basically. My behaviour wasn't acceptable as a kid. That's probably
Was that when you say it wasn't acceptable? Was it is that because you were conscious that you were struggling, or because you said it's okay being diagnosed at 10, but you must have had something leading up to that?
Yeah, so there were a few things that raised concerns with my parents and behaviour, with not bad behaviour, just not being able to concentrate in certain situations where a normal child should be able to concentrate. Yeah. But also the positive of coming with that is noticing things that a normal child wouldn't notice. a prime example was went to have my hearing tested done because I had liquid behind the eardrum, which still do every now and then, but I could hear horses from before anyone else heard them, basically. So because of my attention side of things, you're a bit tuned to distances more, distuned to sounds further away.
So you sense it.
I could hear the noise from a long way away, and they were like, "How did you hear that?" And that's where I started the diagnosis from.
That's pretty amazing.
Part of the diagnosis from.
And you was 10 at that time. So back when you were 10, how old are you now?
Oh God, 27.
27. So 17 years ago. Times have changed, right? That'd be picked right up these days. So to be spotted at 10, it was pretty good going.
Yeah,
Lots of children got labelled naughty rather than ADHD or...
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think it helped that my mum was in the process of being a teacher and training to be a teacher. That the school that she did most of her, or one of her part of training was, I wouldn't say it's a naughty school, but it had she worked with a lot of kids that had the issues, and she basically seen that, and then her and Dad had a conversation. Then they decided to take me to get me tested, basically, or tested. Whatever is it? Tested the word, but diagnosed.
Yeah.
And diagnosis, I think, took a while. I don't remember it exactly, and everything everything going up to it. But I think it took about 2 years for the full diagnosis. But it's worse now. Your diagnosis is worse now because in the diagnosis, the time it takes for a diagnosis is now worse than what it was back then. So I wouldn't if I was back now, that age now, I wouldn't be diagnosed for probably 5 years.
Yes,
it's such a backlog of kids that have issues, and the diagnosis take such a long time, and we're so stretched with resources that they can't do.
Well, see, you say that, and I've actually, because you know my eldest daughter, Lauren, do you know what I mean? She's got mild autism, and that wasn't diagnosed until she was 16. And then, so she'd gone through all the school, and undiagnosed. It's probably me missing it as well, bless her. But she was diagnosed at 16. But because then she fell between a bracket of child and adult, no one had taken any care of her. So because she was 16, going into 17, the children's section of autism were like, well, no, she's nearly an adult now, so she's out of our care. But then the adult side of it were like, well, no, she's still a child. So she literally had to wait for 2 years before anyone had take ownership of a diagnosis, which in fact, exactly what you're saying, no one seems to want to take responsibility either at the moment.
Yeah, that's not, and that's, well, I don't think it's fair on, well, it's not fair on kids.
No.
It's not fair. So obviously I have coached youth football, and I do coach adult football, and there's a lad in our squad, or was a lad when I was involved with the first team club, that was in 16, 17, that I could see from my own personal experiences that had issues, but nobody wants to, not nobody, so it's not fair. Certain people who have been brought up in a certain way don't want to put a label on it. No. They think they think if you put a label on it that you're this could be taken where your child's disabled, or
of course.
And you're not. Or not every learning difficulty or diagnosis is disabled. If as much as that,
and that's the stigma, and that's what we're trying to do here.
I think, and that was a conversation. I'll go back to that conversation that I had personally with the parent. Not only just having a chat. Just like the behaviour's a little bit not bad, but even at that age, and they were like, no, we're not. And I was like, basically palmed it off, and I don't know what word I'm looking for, but denied all possibilities that.
Yeah, but it's what you say is what parent? Because I was in that same position. What parent wants to have that realisation that, like you say, because they're your child, you love them unconditionally, but you know that they're going to be labelled a certain way. So there's always that nervousness and of not understanding exactly what a diagnosis is, and that it's not really going to change too much other than make it a lot easier for your child. But they think from an outside point of view, they're going to be labelled, like you say, disabled, slow, or something like that.
I think a big part, even today with my own diagnosis, ADHD, and I'm on the spectrum elsewhere and else things, but it's such a long process of doing that. There's by the time it's done, there's no point in me actually having the full diagnosis with these other things. Yeah. So like even today, I still am reluctant to be taking my medication or take it all the time.
What medication are you on?
Ritalin and Concerta. I take Ritalin, which are like 4 hours, and a Concerta like 8 hours. So I have two possibilities. If I do like for today, for like an event, I'd take 4 hours after work and go and do that, and then before work, I'll take 8 hours.
Okay.
So it all depends. It's that 4 hours there for being able to take it if I need for a long day, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you have to work it around.
Yeah, I work it
your
around,
everyday life.
but I'm still reluctant. I try and take it every time, but I'm reluctant to take it because this is me. I'm medicated. If that makes sense.
Okay. So what when you say you're reluctant to, why is?
Because I prefer I prefer both sides. If that makes sense. There's two sides of it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say bipolar, but you've got two, not personalities as such, but there's two sides of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You've got one side, there's a medicated one, which mum and dad love both of them, but that side is you to deal with. You've seen me on medication at summer tournament stuff, so you know there are days where I haven't had it, where I'm easy to deal with, days where I'm not easy to deal with, but there's two personalities and two sides of it.
Yeah, but it's good that you're talking about this, because people that see you around at the clubs and stuff like that see the two different Anguses and are like, wow, now they can start to get an understanding of what it is to get through your daily routine and daily life. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about the Angus they see, it's what goes on behind that scene as well, you know? So that's good to get out there as well, in fairness, bruv.
That's the part short of it. Back to the question where we got a bit off the wire, off the question what you asked about school and how I found it. I found my school life hard with it. It was kids know you're different, people know you're different. Not the teachers were fine, because I was always supported with learning and support in school, and I had one of the best, they're still support, if that makes sense.
What school was that?
I was at Knights Templar.
So you was at mainstream school?
Yeah, mainstream school.
And you felt really supported?
Yeah, I was supported by the learning support departments all the way through school,
okay.
and they understood, and a lot of teachers understood and supported and made allowances and not bending rules, but sorry, that sounds a bit, but there was leeway and to make sense.
So you're saying you had really good support at school, and the teachers picked up on things? Yeah,
teachers picked up on things, but back to the start. Basically, that's the short version of it, or long, short, whatever you want to put it.
So the 10 that's a really difficult time, especially, so now, I don't know if you know, obviously there's SATs at 10, sort of 9, 10, 11 to get into secondary school. So at 10 is probably quite a crucial time, because you were just going into, or getting ready to go into secondary school with your diagnosis. Yeah. So that must have been really tough with changing school, a diagnosis. So the fact that you went in there and got through mainstream school, bruv, is pretty decent. You know? Yeah, you should be.
A lot of children that get diagnosed with ADHD and autism and stuff like that, they go to a unit, or they even get kicked out of that unit. I've done talks in behavioural units, and a lot of children that I speak to in these units are ADHD. And, you know, even myself, I've got ADHD. I'm unmedicated. My reason for not taking the medication is because it makes me into a zombie. And I haven't taken it for a long time. So a lot of people have different reasons for taking it and not taking it and stuff like that. But I like what you say when you say that you've got a long day ahead, so you're at work, you take the 8-hour one. I like that, because you know yourself that you've got to take that medication when you've got to take it.
Yeah, I don't. Mum and Dad are quite supportive and remind me, because I do forget. well, I don't want to say forget. I potentially don't take it sometimes. I don't, as I just said there. So they know that I need it to get through a day sometimes.
Do they know when you've not taken it effectively?
Straight
so
away. They'll know straight away. Yeah. I try and blag it to them, but they know straight away. I try and blag it straight away. And there was something the other day that happened, and they were like, "You take like medication. We need to like do this." And I lied to them. There's not a good thing, but they knew straight away.
Yeah.
They're like, "You haven't taken it. Like, there's no point in trying to do what we're gonna do. Like, you haven't taken it."
They know you better than you know yourself, Angus.
I thought I was doing a pretty good job of it, but but clearly not.
Don't we all? Like?
But clearly not.
Don't we all?
So yeah, they knew straight away. They were like, "There's not a chance."
But so from the school side of things, the educational side and Knights Templar, obviously everything you felt supported.
Yeah.
But you did mention obviously that you struggled with your peers or your fellow students.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
was bullied most of the way through secondary school actually, and through junior school. Funny enough, I don't know why I said funny enough, but yeah, bullied all the way through. Physically, emotionally, whatever you want to, yeah. So there's a long.
What sort of things did they do and say?
I don't remember what was said as such, but it was more that I do remember it wasn't. My school wasn't. I wasn't very. Yeah, it was never very good.
Did you have? Let's come away from that just a little bit. Was there any way with support network, like when you were having a bad day? Was there? I know you spoke about the school, but could you talk to your parents about it? Did you have a group of friends that you could? Or
there's still a core group of friends that I went to school that I still see and talk to.
Yeah.
That still do talk to now. And they always looked after me. They always were new, but I wouldn't say we had to talk to mum and dad about it.
No.
Mum found out via other teachers that something has happened. So I never told mum and dad anything really.
So the school,
some of the teachers had to speak to mum and dad. The mum, which I think mum always, I don't know what to say.
No, that's cool. And I don't know if you know, but obviously my youngest was going through an horrific time in the last 6 months. She's only 5. And there was a boy I can't say too much, obviously, but, because it will get me all upset.
Yeah, mate, don't worry.
But again, do you know what I mean?
Being an idiot.
But it just shows you, but the school were the other way with us, do you know what I mean? They've been very distant and we've had to fight with them, and get people involved. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that, again, Knights Templar, again, fair play to them that they've got involved and got your parents involved. Sometimes schools can literally just bury their heads. Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's Angus, do you know what I mean? Kind of, not just that it's you, but as a child, just say, I don't want to deal with it. Which is good to them that they've actually got involved, in fairness. So I'm sure that helped you at times as well.
I don't know if I'm not sure. Like, I'm not really sure. School was.
Is it a time in your life that you just want to forget?
I put it behind me, but I don't think I'll ever forget. You put it behind you, but I don't think you'll ever forget that part of your life. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you're in school from. What is it? I don't know when you're in school from nowadays. You're probably in school from when you're 8 or even younger, and you're in school till you're 16. Yeah. So no, probably not. I don't think I'll ever forget that part of my life. I don't think, because it's obviously such a big part of your life, if that makes sense, isn't it? It's 15 years of your life, isn't it? Give or take. Yeah,
and it does mould you in some aspects to the kind of young adult you become. In fairness. So again, like I say, mate, the fact that you've stayed mainstream school and got through all that is it's fair play and testament to you, mate. In fairness, because I also know. So, what do you do for a living?
For a living, I am a groundsman at Watford.
Yeah, and what else? What are you fully trained in?
I'm an electrician, fully trained, but I'm more now groundsman now.
Yeah, no.
I moved into doing my looking
Again.
after grass for a living.
Yeah, but don't take anything
I
away
know,
from the
but-
fact that you're a fully qualified electrician, bruv. Do you know what I mean? You should be proud of that.
I think what Adrian's trying to say is that no matter what bullies or how much the schoolwork annoyed you or whatever with your ADHD, I think what he's trying to say is that you put two fingers up at them and said, right, I'm going to go and qualify as an electrician, and now I've had enough of that, I'm going to go and qualify as a groundsman.
Yeah.
And work at one of the biggest clubs in England. Well, it's Watford. It's still a big club.
I'm not sure Luton Town fans will say that. Do you know what I mean?
Club. But you know, it's not grassroots. It's a professional football club, and you should be proud of yourself for getting that far after the start.
So, you obviously done your exams at school. Did you go to college or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I
could
went
you
to
just
college.
couldn't wait to get out of school?
I wanted
or-
to get out of school, but I think my year was the first year that you had to stay in. I was going to swear there, but there's probably kids watching this. The idiots upstairs made the rules that you had to stay in education until you were 18.
I bet you were
whatever
well
else.
chuffed with that, weren't you, when that came
No, I
out?
wasn't. It was the first year, wasn't it? But I was like, brilliant. So, no, but that's...
Yeah. So you went to college? Sorry,
Yeah.
bro.
So I was going to say something about that as well. It was It was
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
an electrician at college. And how many years did that take you?
3? I can't remember, 2 or 3. I can't actually remember talking about it. It was quite a while ago now.
Did you, I suppose, what was the first year at college and then a placement as well? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just went really well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but it took it's a lot of attention to detail. And when I first started it, I loved it and the attention was there, but didn't. It took a lot of energy and draining. Because you're focusing on a little 5x5 box. Sometimes you get a player focusing on a little area, or it's a lot
with your diagnosis.
with my
that makes it even. Yeah.
Your mind's going a million miles an hour with ADHD, so doing a job like that you need to take your time and be patient and delicate with. Fair play to you for being even able to do it. I can't even change a plug, so.
You shouldn't admit that. You shouldn't admit that live on the podcast.
I probably would be able to if I tried.
He's lying, Angus. He's lying. I'm telling you, he's lying.
I'm good at other things, alright?
He's great at taking photos.
Not that great at that either. But yeah, doing something like this with us, I know you know me and Adrian anyway, but
Yeah.
I don't know you that well.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn stuff about you tonight that I didn't know. And I think it takes a real brave person to do that. Same with our last podcast with Samantha, you know, having bipolar and getting into and going on film and doing that. I really appreciate you for coming on and, you know, hearing you succeed at college and qualifying as an electrician after the start in life you had. It's impeccable, man.
I think we need. Yeah. No, it is. It's good.
It's something to be proud of, Angus.
There's school life is never easy because of certain other things. A lot of other things. Oh God. So in school, there's a few things in school. So my dad and his 3 brothers were both diagnosed with testicular cancer at the literally towards the end of GCSEs, or just I can't remember which way around it was now. But that was really hard. I don't think we as a family, we talk about it, or mum and dad talk about it, sister talks about it, we talk about it, but I don't really talk about it. I don't think I've ever, I think that part of my issue still at the moment are probably to do with the fact that everything that went on and obviously everything that went on at school went on, I don't think I ever really talked about it. I think it affected my...
So you've got siblings, have you?
Yeah, I've got a sister here younger than me.
Okay, so you've just got a younger sister.
Yeah.
Have they undiagnosed or are they?
No, she's normal, if you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, you say normal. Do you know what I mean?
Normal as well.
Yeah.
You're not
But again, and your mum and dad. So obviously, how was that dynamic as well?
What do you mean?
Of the family dynamic of it. Was your sister really good with it? Do you know
With
I mean?
the diagnosis
Yeah.
of dad and his
Because I know what
three,
sisters are like.
I think my sister deals with everything, has dealt with all the stuff that's gone on in the family better than I have or ever will. I don't think she I think she can talk more about things with mum and dad, or in the open as an open compared to me. I won't talk about it. I haven't talked about it. They still try and ask questions if that affect anything.
Do you shut down then when it comes to it?
I shut down about loads of things. There's a lot. There's a lot of things. But
we'll go into it.
So she's quite happy to. I'm quite open with certain people, so I'll talk to my cousins a lot more and her husband, and see my dad's side of the family and talk to them more about things in my life or going on that affect me, than I will talk to my mum and dad. Dad understands more than mum why I'll happily go. I basically spill the beans and everything to them, but won't talk to them about it. Mum. What are you playing with, Shane?
Yeah, that's the wrong way.
That's the wrong way, Shane. Flip it.
Like that because don't worry about me. Don't worry.
It's supposed to be in the shot, Shane.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in the shot, mate.
I don't want to be.
Well, I've got my.
It's lost all your train of thought.
I lost the train of thought now.
Leave the thing alone and put it back. Right, thank you.
Why do you not want to be in it, Shane?
It's annoying for people watching that they have to turn your phone on.
Is that what they're saying? Oh,
no, that's what Shane thinks, and he's just having a little moment. Leave the thing alone.
I've forgotten my word now. Where were we, Shane?
So we're talking about obviously the family side of things.
So I'll talk to my cousins more than I talk to my mum and dad. Which, as I just said, I don't remember. The dad is obviously my dad would like me be able to talk to them, but he understands that I won't, or I can't, or I don't know how to, which I don't know either way, but it's easy to have a conversation and talk to them, so I'll...
Would you, obviously I don't suppose they'll be watching live, but will you, once we start editing in this, will you show any of it to them? Do you think you'll be able to say, look...
Why you put me on the spot, Adrian?
Watch that.
Why you put me on the spot, Adrian?
No, but just it's more about...
There'll be people watching this and they'll know my mum or dad and my mum's taught. So you put me on the spot.
No. But I'm just saying, do you think that this will help?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think it ever will. I don't think it ever will. No. I just think that it's... Yeah, I don't know why. It's just not... I just don't know why. I don't know why I can't talk to them, but mum doesn't understand that. Mum gets upset that my auntie will know more than she'll know, and
it's tough.
But dad understands, and my sister understands why.
But that's mum's, mate. That's mum's.
You literally just hit. Yeah, mum's overprotective, but not overprotective. I don't know.
It's just because she cares.
I think she probably feels like some of what is happening or happened. I think she partly, from what she said to me before, that partly blames herself for things happening in school.
Okay.
Because some of the students she taught were the problem, but we're not going to go down that. But and there's other things, and she thinks that she didn't do enough for me
to protect you.
Yeah, protect me basically. So she's. I don't want to try to make up because she does enough as it is, and will always. Well, mums and your parents are sorry, I should say that. Most of the time, your mums and your dads would always love you and be around and protect you.
Yeah.
I know that.
That's what they're
saying.
Sorry, yeah.
I know that there's some people that won't have either of them. I don't mean that in a.
No. Like you say, some
people are unlucky. Are unlucky in a bit. I don't mean that in a. And I'm quite lucky with that, but. Yeah, and I talk to my sister quite a bit, about things, but not about.
Does she show an interest in your diagnosis, or does she try and understand?
Yeah, she understands. She understands. But yeah, she understands.
So basically, it's quite a good rounded life at home. All right.
Yeah,
everyone has issues sometimes.
Right, we argue all the time, but that's just. My mum doesn't believe me when I tell her that everyone argues. Like, mum goes, "Oh, we argue too much. I mean, we argue too much at home." Like, no, Mum. I said, everyone argues. I said, go. I said, go. I said, everyone argues. I said, anyone that tells you they don't argue doesn't argue. And she goes, yeah, but and then like the house as well. I know we're going off topic now, but the house. She goes, every time, the house is a mess. I went, people don't give a monkeys how your house looks. I said, I can guarantee that if you walk up to their house and you go in, I said, it's not spotless.
Hey, the way we see it, mate, the house lived in is one that's just nice
she doesn't.
and warm.
She's a bit, we've gone off a bit again, haven't I? But
it's fine. That's what this is about.
Agenda.
This is what this is about, mate.
yeah. So I don't, and then what about my dad's, and so that my dad was the first of the two to have his operation, which.
So you had a lot go on.
Yeah,
at
a lot going on in
GCS
school.
time.
And yeah, had a lot going on in school. And then my mum's brother's wife lost, I can't remember how long ago it was, but lost her fight of cancer, but a couple of years before or after, I can't remember which way around it is. So I think there's a lot of things that have contributed to things that are still going on now. I don't think I've fully... Yeah, and there's a few other things, and we'll...
So you're still trying to process?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever processed any of the stuff that's happened in school to me as a child, or spoken about. I think I've spoken about, but not spoken...
You've never had any therapy or anything?
No, I'm having therapy for things now.
You are now?
Yeah, that's provided work have pushed for that, but we'll get to that later on. But yeah, I am now, but at the same time, I don't. Going to see my nieces and nephews and my cousins like every day. Once, well, I see them. So bank holiday, I was there Friday, and then was there Monday. So I went over just to see them. Like, there's a few days there, just because I need to.
Okay.
It's just my.
So what? You're going to go on to about a release there, maybe. What is your? When you're feeling a bit. So
football was my release, so like Friday...
I can relate to that, Angus.
What?
Football's my release as well.
Oh, I know it is.
And I reckon it's his as well.
I know it's his.
Yeah.
I know it's his, mate. If he didn't have a relationship, he'd be living at the football club.
Oh, no. My poor lady, do you know what I mean?
I shouldn't say that live on air, but...
My poor lady.
Yeah, so football is a release, so... I'm now over at... Well, we're at Step 4 at the moment. I'm at Step 4 club at the moment, and... Thursday at work, had no idea why, mood plummeted. Friday I wasn't very good, didn't go out of bed, got to football, wasn't very good, was in my own space, but then getting to football and everything, it lifts you. I don't know why, it just was different, like everything was...
Let's get back 10-0.
That wasn't bad 10-0, we drew 2-2.
None of us experienced that, by the way. None of us do, because we're all good. We're good.
We went 2-0 up against second in the league, thank you very much.
That's good.
So again,
and we're fifth from bottom, thank you very much.
So that's your release then? That's where you find...
Yeah, well, that's one of my releases. So that's a big part of one of my releases, getting back into the level of football and back at where I am now. Which, if you follow me, you know where I am. It's all over social media at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big release. And if then on the bank holiday Monday, I was over the weekend. Went and saw nieces and nephews on Monday morning.
Yeah.
I spent the morning with them and my cousin, and her husband, and they know everything. There's a few, but. Yeah, they know a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we need to circle back at some point and circle forward. And we're sort of skipping, skipping parts of my life and going.
That's fine. We just want you to just be relaxed, and we don't want to put you in any kind of position where you don't have to talk about anything like this. The fact that you're here is amazing in itself. It's more about just you having a chat, really, and getting how you feel across, and hopefully just a bit of understanding now where when you do go to football you have other people that now will look at you maybe in a different way and understand things a bit differently. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, that's all it's about, really. We're not going to try and push you in any kind of area you don't want to be. You know, this is all about you, not us. So
we'll go then, yeah? No.
Mate,
I'm joking.
You ain't finished your Coca-Cola yet, though, bro. So,
Do you know, we all three of us have football as a release for our mental health. A lot of people watching TikTok and a lot of people watching these clips that we make out of this podcast will probably relate to that. Football with me, whilst I'm at football, so at the minute I'm at Kempston with Everton, but whilst I'm there, nothing else matters. Doesn't matter that I haven't got any money because I've given up work. Doesn't matter I've got a heart condition. It doesn't matter about any of my problems or issues. I even forget I'm married sometimes.
Oh, you're brave.
You're brave putting that.
Baby, I don't forget about you, darling. I'll tell you.
But do you know,
Is she watching this in the car, probably?
Damn right she is.
Is she actually watching it now? Is she?
Yes, she said you're doing an amazing job, mate. Where was it? Hold on, let's go back. There you go.
How many comments?
You're doing fab, Angus. We've got comments all over, mate. Becca Churzo,
Who?
Thank you.
Great.
Angus, you're doing great. Mills, you're doing great. I'm not quite sure who Mills is, but we've got them coming through.
I'm not sure quite who Mills is.
Yeah, but nice to see you anyway. But again, everything's positive, mate. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this is all about. Is as soon as we announced you coming on, I think it was the biggest the biggest, what's the word I'm trying to think? Reaction that we've probably had, in fairness, mate. Again, so that shows you probably how popular you are and probably don't even realise it half the time. Yeah?
you are a popular fella and you know, you...
Good way and bad way.
Yeah, no, listen.
We'll make mistakes.
We know that obviously with your diagnosis that obviously sometimes you might not have a filter or sometimes you might say what you need
you've
to say.
You've been on the end of that one.
Yeah, listen, who hasn't? Do you know what I mean?
So have I, watching the bloody football. Oh my God, he didn't shut up.
But that's the whole point, isn't it? Is trying to get the understanding of that you're not saying it just to be malicious or out of order. You're saying it partly because of your diagnosis and partly because
you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how are we supposed to know how medicated you are that day as well? So
Exactly.
it all plays a part, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Your current mood, how much sleep you had that night, how much medication you've had in your system. You know, all these factors play a part of your day-to-day routine. And if you've had a bad day, we don't know that, and the next person doesn't know that. But then you might say something off the cuff or whatever, and they get a reaction. But if they knew you a little bit better, they wouldn't react in that way, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think that's what part of this is.
Cheers, Carts, mate. He says you're doing amazing.
Who's that?
Adam Carter.
Oh, okay.
He's saying you're doing amazing. All right. So they're all coming through, mate. They're all coming through. So yeah, I mean, again, like you say,
Where we go next?
where do you want to go? Do you know what I mean? Effectively, we've gone through to your school and into
gone all the way
your
through,
young
but
college. Yeah. So what about after college then? Well, where would you go from there?
I worked for bachelor sort of the end of school, towards the end of school and college. So I worked for Knights Templar. Well, not Knights Templar, but the sports centre. You know, opposite Knights Templar. So I worked there for got to be 6 years at least.
What was you doing there then?
So I was ledger assistant.
Okay.
But at the same time, we were also repairing things. Me and the guy that were there just because we were trustworthy and got things done. So I was there for 5-6 years, which was a really good part of my life, apart from towards the end of it. But we'll go to that in a minute. But yeah, so that was I enjoyed that. Really good part of my life. I met some really good people and worked with some good people and met some lovely customers, if that makes sense. And a really good group of people. Most of them are really good group of people. Most of them really good. Really.
So that was a good time of your life then? From a work point of view.
A big part of it was a good part. Toward the last 2 years probably wasn't. I was in and out of a relationship for a while with someone that I was in my sister's year at school, who I met through someone else. And things got... I wouldn't know the word I'm looking for. Toxic.
Okay.
Manipulative and emotional abuse is probably the word I'm looking for. I think obviously I was quite vulnerable and quite... that was probably... my mental health probably wasn't the best then. I probably wouldn't have ever admitted that then and still and I only did, then basically work had to get involved.
Yeah.
Work noticed the big boss that I was there at the time, and the lad that I work with, who's still close with now, Matt Tucker, funnily enough, noticed that things weren't right and put two and two together that something was going on, and basically wasn't doing my work. So work that he had to, so the lad Matt spoke to me and spoke to me and spoke to this other person with, and then it went upstairs all the way to the I won't say the big boss, but the boss of the centre, who obviously we were good friends with. He knew straight away when he was told. And I went through a phase of being, I went through a very bad, very depressed, and I don't know the word, depressed and probably.
Is that when you realised that the relationship was over and you sort of split up?
I think it was always going to go, because she was, I think she, I don't know what it is, but it got a bit, towards me it got very, but she knew that, basically she knew everything, so I think she took took advantage of my,
your vulnerability
and where my head was, and how, I don't know, stable's the word I'm looking for, but so she took advantage of that. Work had to get involved because I wasn't, work had to get involved, and then they wanted to tell, I don't doubt if we didn't, I shouldn't be admitting that on live podcast, but
again,
I taught them out of it, I taught them out of it because obviously my mum taught her.
Okay.
So it was a little bit, and my sister knows her well, so it's a little bit, and it caused a lot of issues at home. Well before this happened, well before I plummeted, it caused a lot of issues at home. And mum and dad knew there was something going on, but once again, I don't talk to them about anything. So, and they found out towards that might be me.
I know Harps.
Someone on Instagram.
I know Harps has said that he's met both of your sides and he loves both of them. So, cheers, Harps.
So I had a very, and then I basically, because I wasn't doing anything, they had to intervene, which I understood, but they did it right.
When you say intervened, what, they actually intervened into the relationship?
No, both, a little bit of both. So I got called into the office with the guy that got very close to me, and another girl that was very close with him and me. That knew, two people knew, and those are the two people that knew. Well, not two people because my cousins knew, but those two people outside of my family knew.
And that was Matt
Tucker.
Matt Tucker.
Yeah,
fair play, bro. Fair play to you.
So they knew, and then they knew it was happening. They could see over a period of time that stuff wasn't the same, and they eventually the work intervened, and then we had a chat, and then basically made sure that I didn't work any of the shifts that.
Oh, so she worked with you?
No, she was a member at the gym,
okay.
but came in quite a lot, and her mum was, and so was her brother, and so was her dad. So they had to basically work out roughly the.
I suppose that was difficult.
Yeah, it was difficult. No, I had to. I didn't do shifts that they knew that one of them would be in. Basically, they sort of
again
had to. They sort of had
to. But again, it feels like that you were the one that are having to change your life. Do you know what I mean? Because of that situation.
Because I did, but I would say I probably did have a breakdown at work, in middle of work. So I think that's where it had to get to that bit. They had no choice. It was becoming. It was they had no choice. They had no choice. And I've never actually publicly said that, and I don't think many people know that. So.
Brilliant. When you say you had a breakdown, was it you just hit a brick wall?
Yeah, hit a brick wall and spent one of the shifts in tears, basically, or two of the shifts, and not doing much. But I was had a good group of people I worked with around me. That
brilliant.
They all people, funny enough, knew all straight away. People that I worked with knew what was going on. So then, sort of rallied around, and I don't say protected is the word, but put barriers in place. So if I was on shift when they were there, I wasn't anywhere to be seen. I was doing something else. So I basically was sent out to look after the AstroTurf where they would never be.
Yeah, and that is where we're saying about having... So that sounds amazing, in fairness, and having that good support network.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to achieve here, is that it's okay to have these kind of moments in our life and just to trust people that we've got around us. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's good, isn't it? That you had that at your work environment.
And then they had, in the end, they did tell. Well, I don't think in the end they did tell. I think Mum came in, looking at me, and then obviously I was on shift, but I wasn't where I wasn't where they were expecting me to be. And I think that's when she found out, or they let her. Well, I don't think she found out. I think my sister found out, and then we were talking about it, and I think she caught the end of a conversation and she worked it out. But I don't think I've ever spoken to Mum and Dad about this and whatnot. And I got quite, I wouldn't say, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I got very, very down low, depressed, and then wasn't in the best place.
So was you out of work for a while after that? Or?
I wasn't out of work for a while. I was out probably 4 months and then went to do something else. But I left at the end of my, something else happened, but that was part of the factor, and I left.
Yeah.
But
so was you doing college while you were doing?
Yeah, I was doing college. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were working and doing college, and obviously in a relationship that wasn't great for you at that time. So, I mean, the fact that you passed your electrician's course again is pretty amazing, really, isn't it? You've got all this going on, and you still managed to get through that. I mean,
that's resilience.
Yeah, proper.
It's resilience, man. Just brushing things off.
It's pretty decent, bruv.
You should be proud of that, man, because most people would use what you've had in your life as an excuse not to do them sort of things. And I've met so many people over the years that are like that. Like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that because I've had this done to me, or I've got this. And it doesn't define you, does it?
No, during that time that as part of this same thing, my godfather owns a chalet in France, so I went out for 4 years for 2 weeks in the summer to work for him, working for American cyclists. Came over to follow the Tour de France. And then so that was really good. That was probably one of the best parts of my childhood as such. I wouldn't say childhood because I was probably 18 and whatever, but end of my was the best parts of it. Sitting up on the mountains watching the Tour de France and enjoying the sun and enjoying the views.
Yeah, I can imagine what that would have been like. I bet
that
was pretty
special. Snails or?
No, I did not eat snails. Not a chance am I eating snails. Not a living hell am I eating snails.
Did you have hot chocolate for breakfast?
Yeah, of course I did.
They love it over there, don't they?
So that was a really good thing. Really good. And that was probably where I realised that things weren't going to work out back up thingy, because I got cheated on back out there, but shit, life happened, sorry. Excuse my language.
It's all right, mate. Don't worry.
But no, that's a really good part of my life is doing that. And if I wasn't so busy with work now, I'd go out in 4 weeks' time to France again, but work's busy.
Yeah.
I haven't got the luxury anymore of...
Well, even though it's potentially going to be end of season, effectively.
Yeah, but we rip up pictures.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So we spend basically all the off-season... Well, as soon as that last game's play, which is the 3rd of May, we rip up nearly every pitch at the training ground.
Okay.
So we've already ripped one up, and it's already nearly ready to, well, it's not ready to use, but it's quarter of the way there.
Okay.
So we ripped that one pitch up 5 weeks ago. So we ripped the next one up if a contractor can come in 2 weeks' time, just before the season finishes. So I think they start on the bank holiday Monday.
Brilliant.
Or the Friday before the bank holiday.
But if you didn't, you'd like to. Do you not get any time where
we get a holiday, but it's harder to go out. It's hard to plan it around because we're so short-staffed at the moment. We've gone from having 12 of us to 6 of us. It's now you've got to be... You basically 1 or 2 can have holiday. Normally you used to have 4 of us be able to go off, but now it's like, no. It's planning it around everyone.
Yeah, because you've got to have your skeleton crew.
Yeah, it's planning it around everyone, which is... So I love what I do. It's just very well, everyone thinks that because we look after grass pitches and work in football, that like the summer holidays, when the footballers are off, we get 6 weeks off.
Yeah.
Not a chance in hell. Like, you got to cut them, you got to prepare it, you got to look after it, you got to get it all back. Someone's got to put the feed out, the sprays out, and
I just like running on it, bruv. So that's all I know about it. But
well,
yeah,
you used to anyway.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I like rolling over it now.
but yeah.
So going back, obviously at that time when you then left,
Steve's Leisure.
Yeah, the leisure centre, effectively, for want of a better word. And you went away and come back. What was your next avenue then?
I went to be... What did I do? Oh, God. I actually can't remember now. I think it might have been... I installed the CCTV and alarms for about a year.
Okay.
And then I went on to be a gardener. And then I went on to be...
When you say gardener, was that by yourself or was you working
I went to work for Sunshine Gardens.
They're Bulldog, aren't they?
Yeah. I worked for Dave Hammond, I think it is, isn't it? Dave Hammond.
Sunshine. Oi, we've tapped you up there. Make sure you buy us a coffee next time it says. Especially if you get a bit of business. Go on, mate.
So yeah, I went and worked for him for about 8 months.
Okay.
And that's when I went to be... I went to be a builder after that.
A builder?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Well, on sites?
Not big sites, but for a company in Luton, but all of our work was Harpenden though.
Oh, okay.
Harpenden, St
nice
Albans.
area, that is.
Yeah, some lovely projects.
Yeah, I bet.
Lovely projects.
Harpenden and, yeah.
I was quite lucky that I was in that industry when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So
is that what you were doing then, yeah?
Yeah, when COVID hit, I was there doing that. We were on site with the radio on as COVID hit. We weren't bothered. We all knew that sounds like we're.
You adhered to lockdown rules just in case. Yeah. You did adhere to lockdown rules.
Sorry, yeah.
Before someone comes in SAS uniform and takes us away.
I did adhere to it, but
not like Boris, eh?
Obviously, we're out in the open. You have your 4 people. We were a group of 10, so me and a guy had a site, or I worked with a guy on a site. He looked after it. I was his number 2. Then another site had 2 people. Another site 2 people, and that was how we stayed. Yeah. We had one person that floated between all sites, and he didn't get out of the van. He loaded the van up, or loaded the flatbed up, and then when he pulled up, we all unloaded it from each job. Okay. Which just basically to try and minimise contact. But no, when COVID hit, we were on the job and listened to the radio, and it was like Boris Johnson doing his announcement or whatever it was, or massive announcement, 3 o'clock, I think, whatever it was, on the Friday, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we were all like, we didn't really acknowledge it, to be fair, until we got shouted at by a person on the street that we were still working at 4:30 after he announced lockdown.
Yeah.
With grinders and cutting and all that, but no one, because you don't notice it,
cool.
Unless you were sat here with the TV on, you're not.
So in all of this, I don't think you've mentioned anything about the early years, about football or anything like that. So because I know you used to play in goal, bro. Mm-hmm. So where does that all fit into all this then?
Oh God, I played for Bulldog as a child.
Yeah.
Up until.
We'll carry on. But how was it at football? From obviously you said you struggled with children at school and stuff. How was it at football?
So I played football with a good group that were really good friends at school anyway. So we had you had a group of probably 27 aside at the time.
Yeah.
Then you went bigger, and most of them I went to school with. Some of them I didn't, but still good friends with the ones I didn't go to school with now, if that makes sense. And then split into bigger groups or teams, as they say. And then I played all the way through to under 15s at Bulldog, and then went to Royston Celtic for a year. And then
in goal, was this? Yeah,
and then Tenchi phoned me up and went, "Do you want to come play in goal?"
Good old Tenchi.
Do you want to come and play in goal?
Did he have his rucksack with him?
Mate, the geezer couldn't stand the white line. The white line's here. He was over there.
Good old Tenchi.
Yeah.
Good old Tenchi.
Yeah, of course he did. He never left home with that rucksack.
No, we
He
know.
never left home with that rucksack. It probably never went to the wash.
So how did you find, with your diagnosis, and how did you find football? Did you find that as a release?
The adult football or the kid?
Yeah, just a bit of both, really, mate.
I found releases with playing with your mates is always fun. Playing with a group of people you've gone to school with for most, or known for since you were 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, I can't remember exact ages, you get close to them all. Still close to them all now. Still see a lot of them now.
Yeah.
But,
football mates are for life a lot of the time, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Football mates are for life. I've got, I might not see them every day, but I know if I saw any of the football lads that it'd just be instant again, the banter and the good fun we had. And we were very successful, by the way.
No, he's got to throw that in there, hasn't
he? Of course.
How many trophies?
Don't even get me started.
How many trophies?
I don't think the roof's big enough, mate, for them all. But there we go. No, but
back in the day when they were that big.
Yeah, hey, mate, I've got golden boots out of this bag. He knows, he's seen them.
Not like nowadays where it's a great big plate. It's the size of the door.
You know it, mate. You
and
know.
Welcome to the Adrian Turner podcast.
Yeah. No. But it's more about the understanding of what football can, or sport can do for mental health, or for anyone that's in a diagnosis or recovery or anything like that.
So it's a big relief. I don't know, relief. I don't know what I'm looking for, isn't it? But you know what I mean. But yeah, it's a big support, and being in that environment is a big support. It's like a second family.
Yeah.
It's like a second family. So it's not so family as a kid. Then when you went into the old groups, then you obviously, some people go to uni, some people go to move away, some people travel, some people move. That's what's happened, and then everyone's slowly coming back. Yeah. So everyone that I used to play with, the kid that went to uni or has moved away or has gone travelling or moved abroad for 2 years, everyone sort of comes back.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, no, everyone was a really good group of lads and got with everyone that I played foot with.
So then you ended up with Tenchi
and Trevor.
Ah, good old Trev Sauce.
And then Bazza joined.
Look, see, legends of football around here, aren't they? Eh? So yeah, I mean, how did you find that interaction? Because obviously you've then left Bulldog, where obviously you know everyone, and then got into a new environment. How did you find that? Because some people with ADHD or any autism, change can be quite difficult.
Tenchi's me. He's just an older version, mate. That's literally the.
Yeah, so it's like a seamless.
He won't ever admit it.
No.
He won't ever admit it. He'll be like, no. He'll be denying all knowledge.
Yeah. Maybe we need to get Tenchi on in next, bruv, if you're watching.
The guy still has Tottenham curtains. He's still a child. And Tottenham duvet.
That's got to be bad enough having Tottenham curtains.
Sorry, Tench.
Yeah, don't worry. We love you, Tench. So we'll have it. He'll get his chance to have his say, So
really good. Tenchi was really good. So was Trevor. I was with Trevor. Tenchi and Trevor probably for 2 years before Barry came involved, but a really good group of people and players. There are a couple of senior lads that that even you might know that were always sort of arm around you as a young lad. I'm around you there. Supporting no matter what.
Yeah.
And then I was moved between. Tenchi and Jason had like to fight over me a bit.
That must be nice.
Don't ask me why.
A verbal fight, that is. Fight.
Yeah. So I was between Jason and Tenchi for a while, like going back and forwards in each other's squads. Which I enjoyed because it's you're wanted. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you're not playing, but you're wanted. And
who doesn't want that? In fairness,
who doesn't want that? Everyone wants to be wanted in football and play as hard as they can, but they want football's changed now. It's not about wanting to prove yourself and then work your way up. It's I'm going to sit on the bench for 30 quid at step 2, and you don't play football. You haven't played. Okay, I play at step 2. Who'd you play for? How many games you played? 1. So you don't play at step 2. So
you're in the squad.
And you go, what games you playing? Hearts County Cup. So you haven't played at step 2. You played in the county, like and that's something that I miss in football, is that you don't get many people nowadays. I know we're going off a little bit, but back when I was playing, it was about proving yourself, and people want you and wanting you out. Highest I went was on the bench at step 4. Do you know what I mean? I didn't play at step 4 on the bench, but I didn't play at step. I played one game at step 5, was on the bench, but the same thing. Principle was wanted because what was wanted because people. I don't know loyalty is the word, but
football loyalty at grassroots level.
Sometimes it's who you know, isn't it?
Yeah, as a manager, you have players that you trust.
But the loyalty's gone now. It's not. It's not. And as I just said, when you was playing it.
Not me, mate.
All right. But,
Bless him.
He's not made for football.
No, but
I love you, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, but when we were playing, it was like you just said. You prove yourself. You work your way up the ladders. But now it's. I just said to you. Oh, they want me to go. Oh, I'm going to go and sign for step 2 and do. But you're not. You're not playing for step 2. You're going there to make the numbers. And what's that come up on your phone, by the way? Sorry.
Is that a porn channel? Is it? So just on that. So
don't slide it.
What are you supposed to do then?
I don't know. What does it say?
Put the cross up the top in the right.
Fit to the puzzle.
No, close it.
Oh no, that's right.
Yeah. You know, you got shit fingers.
There you go.
Sorry. Now flip it. I don't like that angle. I don't like my fucking head in that. There we go, that's better. I've got a wider angle.
Love this. Hey, this is how you know it's live. So again, with
Where were
that,
we going?
so
we're talking about football, weren't we?
When you was within the sport and doing the sport, was you having to medicate or?
Yeah, I was medicating. I had to medicate because of concentration. As I said, any little noise, you get distracted by it. Yeah. You'd hear a whistle that was 10 pitches down the bottom, and you'd get distracted a little. You know what I mean? You hear a noise. It's like when someone shouts a name and you think it's you, little noises. So we play. Where do we play? Play somewhere over at Luton once, and that's probably the worst possible place for me to play because of the Luton Airport, obviously. So everyone looking over.
Is everyone Angus?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
The ball's flying over his head and he's looking at the plane.
But no,
I think Arps had that problem, didn't you? Arps being in goal.
Waving at the fans, you mean? Love you, Arps.
I heard he was decent.
He wasn't in his prime, mate. Not towards the end of it. He was waving at everything.
Yeah, fair play to him. So did you have to work your football around your medication? What did you prioritise? Was it I need to take my medication, or was it I need to work?
It was like, you need to take medication. And back when I was obviously, before, obviously I wasn't an adult, so I couldn't really, you don't get, you see it with your kids, they're 11 going on 20, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? They think they know better, but they'll never know better.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that I will never, there's certain things that I'll never know better than mum and dad on. I'm not going to say everything, just in case they see this, because there isn't everything. But there are certain things that I know, I'm right on, I know better things on that I'm better at or know things more about. But as a child, you don't, until you hit 18, you don't get, not the freedom. Well, yeah, back then you didn't get the freedom. What your mum and dad, not forced you, because it's going to sound like I was my mum and dad were a bit horrible, but but as a child back then, my probably. Not genre, what is it? Generation you was probably the last where the parents really got to say everything you did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a horrible way, because nowadays I see it now. This is not aimed at anyone. There are kids on the street that are 8. They're out till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That I will see when I'm, and it's like, how are you out at 2 a.m? Like, you know what I mean? If that was me, I'd
tell you what, I can't get past 9 o'clock now without needing my bed rub.
But that's what I mean. No, you don't do it very often. But like, I don't. You walk. The other night we went. The other night, like a couple weeks ago, I was walking back, and there were like kids on scooters, like not like young, like, but they were probably no older than 10 or 11.
Yeah,
and you stood there and you're thinking, and it was pitch black. The time the lights, all the street lights had gone off, and you're thinking, what are you doing? Like, how are you not at home? If that was me, I would have my mum looking everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be all over social, it'd be all over Facebook back then, sorry, Facebook and MSN and BPM, whatever it is.
Mate, back when we was kids, there wasn't social.
I was going to say, the first mobile phone that come out was this big, like Eddie Murphy, hello? But anyway, so...
But yeah, so I think that I was quite lucky that, I wouldn't say forced, it's not forced, but quite lucky that my mum, that I was that
there was
generation.
a structure.
Yeah, there was a structure. I don't think I would be where I am without their support and structure. Even if even if they don't know everything and don't know everything still to this day, and I don't listen all the time and didn't listen back then all the time, but I took on little bits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are little bits that I still take on or still remember. Like there's a few comments that like you probably say it. Treat everyone how you want to be treated. Is the way. Like obviously, sometimes I'm a complete and I say what I say and in the moment, and everyone does it. But it's owning that mistake. It's been big enough, stupid enough, ugly enough, and dumb enough to admit that you know what I mean.
And that's a great saying in recovery as well. If you've got addiction and stuff like that, is to own your mistakes and try and do better. And that's exactly what you're saying there, mate. You do sometimes lose yourself a little bit, but you also own it. Exactly. Yeah. You also own it, which is what probably makes you be so well liked, in fairness, is because you're authentic. So just touching on relationships, obviously you had you struggled with a relationship. Have you managed to move on from that and find?
I've moved on from it. I don't know if I have moved on from it. I wouldn't say I've moved on because it's
an emotional scar.
You're gonna laugh at me saying it. Emotional damage. I know that there's a meme that goes, but that is probably spot on. It's emotional damage.
Is there trust?
There's trust. There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust. There's people that. I'll go back to that in a minute, but there's a lot of emotional damage. A lot of you don't. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Trust. You're shut down. Might be the word. People.
Guarded.
You're guarded because there's people that I've spoken to that I've never met that I've met like twice, and they can read you like in a similar situation. They try but you don't let them in. And then you don't let people in because you don't want to get hurt again, if you know what I mean. So there's. I don't get me wrong. Like I don't want to say I've moved on because I've been in one since, not for long, but I've been in one since. But it's always you don't forget that part of your life. I don't forget as easily.
I suppose you could look at it like this: every girl that you meet in future, or every relationship that you try and get yourself in, you've got to get past that barrier first. Because you've been emotionally and
Jesus, that light now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I think it must be really difficult to trust another person.
Yeah.
To be in a relationship with that person and give everything of you to that person, especially after what's happened to you previously.
Yeah, I think that's it's there. You've pretty much said it there. I suppose it's very hard to trust anyone. It's hard. You get close to people, then it's that final part. You know what I mean? But it's that final part. You can't go any further because you can't do the next part. If that makes sense.
Do you think that some of that trying to process that is obviously down to your ADHD? Do you struggle with that as well because of maybe overthinking, or do you think that obviously your diagnosis really does hamper when it comes to relationships and the trust side of it now? Or
definitely that. I definitely think that's a big part of some of the issues at the moment.
Do you make a conscious? So, like you said, you've met someone a couple of times.
Yeah.
Do you make a conscious decision of I'm not going any further?
I don't know if it's intentional or not. I don't know if it's intentional or not because I'm not fishing's not the word, but they're trying and because I don't know if it's the intentional because I'm not sure anything's intentional. What's the word I'm looking for? It's unintentional sub. Don't know what the word I'm looking for now. But
so what you're subconsciously
that's the
saying?
word. Subconsciously don't want to. Yeah. Subconsciously you don't do it.
Yeah. So you don't feel that you're making a conscious decision. It's more subconsciously.
Not always. Sometimes I think it's subconsciously. Yeah. I don't. I don't think it's always consciously. It's subconsciously quite a lot of it. Yes.
Okay.
That's probably because of everything that's gone on in the.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I said, emotional damage and vulnerability and
you
trust.
had 4 to 5 years of that.
I wouldn't say 4. It was probably the back end of it. So the last 2 or 3 years, But
so at the start, it was great.
Yeah, we were all. Yeah, it started. Yes, it's the back end of it. But that's, I wouldn't say life, but stuff happens.
Yeah, but it's not nice. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not nice.
So the fact that you've come out of it again is,
as Jason found out when I put a hole in the door away game one weekend.
But everyone's got a breaking point. You see what I mean? Or a point where they hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Literally.
I know. I didn't hit a brick wall. It was a nice. It was. Thank God it was the door because I booted it and it.
Yeah.
It would have hurt you more.
Yeah, it was a brick wall. It would definitely, but I booted it. Yeah, didn't go down well.
No.
Didn't go down well, Mr. Eden.
Oh, bless him. Bless him.
Not the email he got.
No.
No one owned up to it.
I can imagine.
Well, now they know who did it.
Yeah. Well done, Angus. The FA will be knocking on your door, bro.
Don't worry, I've already got enough of that.
Yeah. So.
No, I mean, I'm all right, but.
Okay, so how do you feel? So from the early part going into, the senior football years. So how did you find that stage of your life? Do you know what I mean? So obviously you spoke about your school, but how did you feel going from college into young adulthood? How did you deal with your diagnosis? And
that was always going to be hard. You're the first time you're in the real world as such, isn't it? You're what's the word I'm looking for?
Independent.
Oh yeah, independent. But I wouldn't say independent. It wasn't what I'm looking for. But independent is this. It's you're allowed to control your own life. I don't know what I'm looking for is, but it's
a vulnerability as well, isn't it?
Which it is. Vulnerability because you're allowed to
make decisions.
Make decisions. Make decisions for
better. For always the right ones.
I was going to say for better or worse.
My poor lady's watching this and going, you still get them wrong.
For better or worse, make decisions that haven't gone well, have got me in trouble. I won't say with the law, but got me on the edge of that thing before because I've been able to make my own decisions.
Is that something you I don't want to say fought for, but with your parents, obviously you've said that they try to support you as much as possible. Is that, when you're making these decisions, good or bad, is that something you fought for to try and have that freedom? Do you know what I mean? Is it?
No, I think Dad realises that it gets to a point where you can only what's the word I'm looking for? You can only control and make someone do what you think's best up until they're teenager to the 17, and then they become in the eyes of the law they're 16 nowadays, I think it is now, but back then it was 18. I think 16 is the eyes of the law.
Now you can get arrested at 10 years old.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know that. I didn't know that. I don't. But no.
Wouldn't know.
No, neither would I. but that's what I mean. Like, so I think Mum still thinks that she can try and not because she doesn't. They don't always. You don't trust your kids. No, it doesn't matter how old you get. You love them, but you're never fully going to trust them with some of the decisions they make, or who they marry, or who they love.
It's never.
Or who they bring home.
Yeah, it's never going to be. I'm sure my eldest daughter's partner's watching now and. Watch it, son. I'll still be watching you. Good old Jacob. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I've got three girls and a stepdaughter. So yeah, you can imagine what I'm like. So yeah, I mean it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like you say, I suppose it's daunting as well because of your diagnosis and that stepping into the real world as such without the protective blanket.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for earlier, like the bubble, as I say.
Yeah, so how did you find that anyway?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
The freedom I liked, but at the same time it landed me a bit of trouble with a few things, but in my past. We're not going down that route today.
No, listen.
Mistakes happen is all I'm going to say. But yeah, we've been there, all done it. So yeah, it's. I don't get me wrong. Being able to make your own decisions is always. To be fair, always make your own decision no matter what. But at 18 is when you leave. As you can get, you leave the house when you want, do what you want, come
Drink.
back. Yeah, drink.
So how did you find that?
I'm
Drink, because obviously with the medication.
I wasn't a big drinker as a kid. I wasn't a big drinker at all. I'm still not a big drinker at the moment.
You like a burger though, didn't you?
Sorry, Becca. Becca's probably saying something else on there at the moment, but
Yeah, I bet she's sitting there going, "Oh, Angus." But anyway, yeah, because obviously, like with my sister, I don't know if you saw my sister's one. With her bipolar, obviously the medication. If she was going out drinking, she'd have to stop taking her medication for a bit.
I do with my heart meds.
Yeah.
So if I go out and I have a drink, I have to not take them.
Do you find that? Or?
No, I don't think. You don't think I have to stop taking them, but I don't really take them when I drink anyway. I don't really when I go out after. Like, if it's not work related, I won't really take them.
Yeah.
That's the good and bad.
Okay.
Because it can end in both ways. I mean, the impulse side of things where you want to punch someone in the face and.
Or you're down, not wanting to get out of bed.
Yeah, or impair or punch someone. As I said, yeah, that side of things got me in a couple of trouble once or twice, but won't.
Yeah, of course, of course.
We've all been there and done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all the latter and not to get out of bed. Even with medication, if I'm not feeling great, I don't get out of bed. So it's not just the medication that makes that difference. That makes sense.
When you're in that part of your ADHD or that part of not wanting to get out of bed, do you consciously push yourself, or does your sister come up, or does your mum or dad?
Mum and dad don't really know. Well, I think they know, but they don't get. They never. I'm never going to let them in. That's the. As I keep saying, never going to let them in. Because
are you scared to hurt your mum and dad by admitting your struggles?
I think I've told them. They know, but then it's just never.
But knowing and letting them in is two different things, isn't it?
Yes and no, I suppose.
So they could know snippets of what they need to know, but
yeah, they know snippets.
Really, what
they know snippets. They know they're not stupid. I think they know.
Yeah.
But if I don't want to talk to them and
but they respect you enough to.
Dad does. Mum's a bit more. Sorry. That sounds horrible. My dad's a bit more. Mine understands. Mum's a bit more. You're my child. I want to know everything. And she doesn't understand that I'm. Yeah, as I said, when more likely going to talk
Mums do that even when their children are 50 years of age. Do you know what I mean? That's just mum's relationship. I find some more than others, obviously, but yeah. I get where you're going with that. Do you know what I mean? It's probably more of a difficult situation with your mum, like you say, because she's always wanting to protect you, especially like you say, which has probably come from the school side of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So fair play to her for wanting to do that.
So I think I want to touch on something, because in the brief that you sent me, you mentioned a few things.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I wanted to mention.
Oh no! Which one?
Was the that you're now in your late 20s.
Yeah. And
you're going through a diagnosis.
Yeah. Well, sure. That's the problem. There's no point in the conversations. There's not a lot of pointing out my age just to go to the next step with that one, because it's such a 27. It could take 5 years. You're in the system, but you're still being looked after, but there's no point in going down that next.
Is that because you're an adult?
It's the same thing you said as your age. It's not this. They don't see the pot that it's. What's the diagnosis? I think anyone that knows, I'm just on the spectrum probably for autism. It's not hard to work out. Everyone probably knows it. Who knows well enough. Mum and Dad would talk about it a lot. We know, but a discussion that I had with my psychiatrist for my last thing is not a lot of point in us. There is no point basically, because it could be 4 years, 5 years down the line before you're diagnosed, because you're at that age of 20. You're 27. They're sort of to that, and they're not. This isn't what she said, but because they'll never say it. But the from the feel I got, it's I wouldn't say it's a waste of resources, but
There's no funding for it.
But they'd rather, there is no funding for it, but they need rather look after.
It's a dog.
Yes.
Is it the dog?
Yeah, he's alright.
But yeah, you've first-hand experience with your eldest or your second, or third. I can't remember which one you said now. Sorry.
You've lost count of how many kids I've got.
4, yeah. Second one, isn't it?
No.
The eldest.
Yeah.
Oh, eldest.
Yeah,
sorry.
the eldest. But
yeah.
But it is that, and that, again, this is stuff that we're trying to change.
And she never said that, but. And she's right. There is, and I've said the same thing. We all agree. There's no point in going down that part. It's another 4 years, 5 years before you actually, and then that's a. But yeah, so.
But you display several traits of autism.
I think everyone
throughout your life.
I wouldn't say throughout my life. I think it's as a grown adult, it's been more. I think people have noticed, but it's not massively. It's only. Just on it, if that makes sense. So you got the there's certain things that, like the hearing, the listening is as a trait of autism. Being able to listen.
So have you got sensitive ears as well, like to loud noise?
Oh, I hate flying. Yeah. I hate the noise. As much as I like I hate the machinery. As much as I love what I do in the machinery and doing what I do, I don't like the noise or anything. Yeah, and that's a part.
That's a big trait.
Yeah, it's a big trait of it. Yeah, but but then it's also a big trait of a big part of. The attention side of ADHD. It's
But if you put them two both together, ADHD and autism, that's a recipe for, there's a lot of effects of that. Sensitivity to noise is autism, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Not being able to concentrate or concentrating too much.
But it's also ADHD. This is the whole. It's so. It's going to sound like really. Wrong and so many. There's too. I personally, there's too many diagnoses. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. There's you've now got ADD, and something else. So there's. Don't be wrong. All these kids have got people, adults. We've all got something, but there's just way too many diagnoses. To the point of. I would say now that if I was back then if I was a child back then now. Like this time generation, I would probably have. Also, I would be diagnosed with autism as well. Yeah. And then with ADD or whatever they call it nowadays, because it's changed. I don't hear anyone nowadays been diagnosed with ADHD. It's ADD and other, and there's two. I'm not a specialist, but there's too many diagnoses, if that makes sense. Too many, I'm going to say this can sound brackets and names for it now, if that makes sense. Yeah, you've gone from having a simple child with ADHD, autism, and like bipolar or dyslexic and whatever to about 20 different. And it's going to sound. Sorry if anyone does this for a living, but. I don't think that. No, but what I'm about to say, I think it's going to upset people, but I don't think that enough people nowadays not in the industry, but do that actually know what they're fully diagnosing people with. I think that they just know they've got issues and they're just going ADD, ADHD.
Do you think it's just easy, basically, to go, right, that's what that is, that's what that is, that's what that is?
I think they do all the tests, but there's so many. Like you said, funding and time. The timing. It took 2 years. I think it was mine. Like that was when it wasn't very. That wasn't when it wasn't very big, and I was. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't as not popular because I don't know that's not the word, but prominent and common now. Like back then, I was a very small, not like a really small percentage, but it was a drastically smaller than it is today. Like drastically. And nowadays they haven't got the time and they haven't got the resources to be doing diagnosis. No. So and that's going to upset a few people with it. But
no, it doesn't upset people, Angus, because you have got experience. You've got life experience.
Yeah, I think that. I just don't think. I think nowadays, if I went in today, I think as a 10-year-old. I don't think they would diagnose me with ADHD. It would be ADD and autism or something, or bipolar or autism and dyslexia. It'd be because no one. It sounds horrible, but
do you see your GP quite a bit?
So I see my psychiatrist Well, I was seeing my psychiatrist every 6 months, every 3 months. As a child, I was seeing them once every 2 months, I think. And then when I got to adult, it was once every 6 months. And then now it's a once a year. At the moment, we've gone to a year. Literally from the last appointment. But we only went back to seeing her because of my... I wanted to go back because of my mental health side of things. It was, so we went back to that. So I'll see her again in a year's time.
So your mental health is obviously you're struggling a little bit with at the moment. Is that because of some of the things you're trying to process from your childhood, or is that because of the struggles you're having now with your later difficulties with your diagnosis?
So in 2018, let's probably should go back to that. In 2018, I lost a good friend to an overdose. Okay. Still accidental. They ruled it, but no one really we're not going to go into it. But and then I think 4 or 5 days before, I lost somebody to suicide. So it's not been. And then March has never been.
Were they both males?
No, one was a female. The one that took my life was
so one male, one female.
But and then it's never easy. I don't think I ever dealt with that. I still haven't dealt with that. March has never been a very good month.
No, okay.
But then the following year I had the same thing with someone else I knew that I played football with. Hadn't seen for ages, not from around here, but knew through playing for where I was goalkeeper coach step 3. Another club took his own life in the same, literally like March a year later. So I've had an incident nearly every March every year. Okay. So similar things of an overdose, death, whatever. It sounds.
So March is a tough month.
March is always tough, and then
everything comes flooding back in March.
Yeah, it does. I don't think I've accepted it until last year. All the stuff when I was management chat. Sorry.
That's another symptom.
Yeah, that is. So last March, March. Yeah, round about March. I think it was middle of March. I was on a course for work about mental health and stuff. I didn't finish the course. Let's put it that way. Okay. I had a full. I don't know what you class as full nowadays, but I had quite a big breakdown in the middle of the thingy.
Is that because of you being on the course that made you think I'm struggling, or was it that you were struggling with the course as such?
I'm not sure on that one. I don't know. I just. Do
you think if you if you weren't on the course, do you think you'd have had that breakdown as fact?
I would have eventually. I don't know if it would have been then or that month but basically every year of March is a bad year no matter what. There's always something that's happened in March, and then always something happened in March. Then the start of the year, March. Funny enough, at the start of March, somebody else this year's done it, or that I knew of through people. So it's like a new played against or coached against, and it's always hard. And then the lad that I knew well recently, everyone will know about it. Another lad. It's always been a hard month or hard. So then I had based back to what I was saying. So in that I had that, and then I got taken in, but not. I went to I didn't go to HR Winnerly. I got told I had to go and see head of HR, and they've been, to be fair to them, they've been really, really good. The work's been really good.
Where are we talking now? What work?
Where I am now.
Watford.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much about them.
No.
It's obviously.
No.
But they've been really good about it. So they didn't know, and then but they've been really supportive and.
When you say they didn't know, did they not know the mental health, or did they know nothing?
No, knew nothing.
Oh, so literally...
I went in on this course and then had my breakdown, and then got taken. Then I was asked, taken in to go and see them, the person that put me on the course, which is somebody in HR, and funny enough, they thought I'd be sent out for my naughty behaviour as a person with ADHD, and and I go, why is he back? Oh, he needs to, and it was like, what's he done? It's not what he's done. And it was like, and then they realised that, so they've been brilliant.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
And work's been brilliant while it's been going on. They've offered all their support. I've had a bit of a... Yes, they've been brilliant. And
Do you know when you're at work, Angus? Do you know when you're at work? I mean, I've seen a couple of photos recently when I was doing some investigation work on you.
Not spying or anything.
I'm gonna block you, Shane.
No, what I'm saying
I'm gonna block you after this.
You were in, the photo was in the ground. There was nobody around. It was completely empty. It was just you and a line marker.
Yeah.
And that to me would be quite therapeutic for somebody who don't like noise and stuff like that. You just because them line markers don't like noise today. So you just quiet stadium.
So there's a story back to that photo actually. So we have a robot at work. Well, it's not called Tina anymore. It's called Angela. But we had a Tina turf tank that used to mark the pitches, and it broke down. Yeah, it broke down. So we had to hand mark it. And I basically it all out on the pitch because we were doing things on the same pitch, and I refused to do the job because of I didn't watching and but not paranoid is the word, but you can feel everyone watching you. So my big boss, which some people will know by my photos, but yeah, he pulled me to the side and said that he was going to get me to mark the stadium for the last under 21 home game of the season of that. So that is that story. Oh. So he knew what was going on. He pulled me to the side and just said, "You don't want to die," and just said, What's going on? He'd been filled in by HR about what was going on and whatever. But we'll go back to that in a minute. So that photo is me marking the pitch for the last under 21 home game of the season. He basically said, "You're coming to do it. I don't care what you don't." He said, "You don't care what you say. You're doing it." So that's me marking Vicarage Road for the.
What I'm trying to say here is that looked quite therapeutic and quite tranquil because there was literally nobody else around. And it's just you, the paint, what do you call them things?
Line marker.
Line marker.
Spray marker, sorry. Or hybrid marker, if we're going to be all technical.
Hybrid
marker for my boss of the year sees this.
Okay, hybrid.
But is that a happy place for you to be?
Yeah, that was.
In a stadium?
No, I loved that. I loved it. I loved it with the 2, 3, all the lads at the stadium were there anyway when I did that. But no, they're fine. They loved it. It was all, but nothing around, just getting on with it.
Is that a happy place for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, of course I do. Of course it is.
So, like, same with you being at Eagles, like that was a happy place for you.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
and it's still. You've opened a can of worms.
No.
It is.
It still is. Yeah, I still enjoy helping.
That environment.
Yeah,
that environment.
There's a certain environment there. Yeah, there's certain environments there.
It was voluntary, wasn't it? Up there.
Yeah, most of it was. Yeah.
You must enjoy doing what you're doing to do it voluntarily.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. But yeah, I did enjoy it. We'll just leave that one at that. I did enjoy it, but yeah, I did enjoy it. But it's football's football. That's probably best to leave that question at that.
I think it's more.
I don't.
what we're trying to get to, I think, it's not so much that side. It's just more about
I think,
at Watford, Kings. Is it Kings Langley?
Yeah, so Kings Langley went first coach
and the Eagles. It's that environment.
Yeah, so I enjoy helping out with the pitch and helping Dom with his under 8s and doing what I need to do. And just,
are you just the grounds? I say just, but are you just groundsman at Watford and Kings Langley, or are you involved in any of the?
First team goalkeeping coach at Kings Langley.
Okay, yeah. So how do you find that then? How do you?
So I was first team goalkeeping coach at Kings Langley. God now, just before COVID, probably a couple of years before COVID, when we were step 3, and then left because I couldn't commit because of work, which is fine. Spent a year and a half there. Loved it, and then. Watford play the FA Youth, their first 3 rounds of FA Youth Cup at Kings Langley, which I didn't realise, and I got asked to go over and prep the pitch and got talking to Darren, and then a new manager came in February after the old manager left, wasn't going, and then he asked me if the chairman said that I'd been first in goalkeeping coach for a year and a half, and said to the now manager. And he said, do you want to basically come back on board? So ever since February.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm loving it.
Yeah.
As much as I'm loving it. If we start at step 4, we start at step 4. If we don't, go to step 5, I'll still be around it. But I'd rather be at step 4, but that's football. I think you all would be. But
so how do you...